really buy Ja Rule's tickets, like seats at his concert? You did?
Cheap tickets. The tickets were very affordable.
Right.
They was on like StubHub. Yeah, I bought the first 4
How
rows.
How many did you buy? If you say you bought the first 4 rows, is that a couple hundred?
Yeah, it was cheap though. It was cheap tickets, so it was something to do.
Right. Fat Joe was squashing the beef. I had it. And Irvin Ja was like, nah, we ain't squashing shit. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He didn't say murder.
Things just exploded again between 50 Cent and Ja Rule. Out of nowhere, Ja came out swinging, throwing shade at 50 like it's still the early 2000s. You'd think after all this time they'd chill, but Ja clearly hasn't let the past go. Fat Joe even stepped in, saying Ja's the one keeping this feud alive. The drama apparently traces back to that wild moment in Atlanta. Yeah, when 50 reportedly knocked Ja out.
Believe you, black child in the middle. Nigga fifth, KO'd that. So look, Ja Rule just come in the elevator, murder! So look.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He didn't say murder.
I can't. I'm not a rapper. I never was with this rapper shit. I just was along for the ride, no diddy. I wasn't with all this rapper shit. You heard? Fifth, he a southpaw. Fifth a southpaw.
Yeah. Hold on, what is
Southpaw.
wait.
Any rapper wanna fight?
Wait. How did it what did run up and say?
Murder! I'm from the hood. I would still make my phone was still ringing. Nigga, I had fiends on my phone.
Word is, Ja never got over that humiliation, and now he's back trying to prove he's not done with 50. And just like that, the whole mess is back in full swing, with both of them firing shots on social media for the world to see. Fans are eating it up, but it's clear these two just can't let history die. 50 and Ja have been locked in this feud for decades, and honestly, it's looking like there's no end in sight. Ja lit the fuse by hopping on X, throwing heavy shade while bragging about his tour money. He dropped a flashy montage from one of his concerts with the caption, "Y'all going to that J.A. Rule concert?" Imagine trying to clown someone currently on tour making 6 figures a show, you ninjas. Cook 50 Cent, take notes like you've been doing this. What a real performer looks like.
No,
But you
and I'm
squashed
not
it
good because I didn't start it. And listen, I didn't start it, and nigga, I don't continue it. I mind my business.
LMAO. But 50 Cent wasn't about to let that slide. Just days later, he clapped back with a screenshot showing his July 4th concert at London's massive Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, completely sold out. His caption read, "How do you want to fight if you're fighting someone who was too stupid to know they lost? Just keep hitting them till they stop moving." And the chaos didn't end there. Tony Yayo jumped in to add fuel to the drama, sharing a wild story about that infamous night in Atlanta. Yeah, the one where 50 supposedly knocked Ja out cold. The old beef was suddenly alive again, and everyone watching could feel the tension heating up fast.
Cool, Ja Rule there. This is after 50 got murdered. I don't believe you, black child in the middle. Nigga fifth, KO.
Then Fat Joe jumped in and spilled even more tea. He said Ja's still bitter because that beef with 50 completely wrecked his career. According to Joe, 50 didn't just drop a few diss tracks. He went all out with a full-blown campaign to make Murder Inc. look weak. Back in the early 2000s, street cred was everything in hip-hop, and 50 made sure to hit Ja where it hurt. Joe explained that Ja was ruling the charts with radio-friendly hits, but once 50 started clowning his street image and mocking his style, the public started seeing him differently. Suddenly, labels got nervous, and Murder Inc. even found itself in the middle of a federal investigation. Ja's unstoppable momentum just vanished overnight. Fat Joe also revealed that he once tried to step in and squash the whole feud.
The problem with Ja Rule and 50 is that 50 slowed him up to where before that, Ja Rule was the Drake of the term.
He said he could see how toxic the drama had become, not just for Ja, but for New York hip-hop as a whole. Joe claimed he made a real effort to broker peace, But right when it looked like things might calm down, Irv Gotti and Ja flat out shut him down, saying they didn't want peace at all. For anyone who needs a refresher on how this iconic feud first exploded, it all goes back to 1999.
Squashing the beef.
Right.
Fat Joe was squashing the beef. I had it. And Irv and Ja was like, nah, we ain't squashing shit. Yeah, I swore I had it. Like, I don't want to put it on 50, but I think 50 was almost like, yo, Joe, whatever you want to do. So I had that. And then when I went to them, they was like, fuck that, this, that.
Ja was robbed in Southside Jamaica, Queens during a video shoot, and years later, 50 admitted in his memoir that one of his own boys was behind the robbery. But Ja told a totally different story. He admitted the robbery happened, but said he never saw 50 with the guy who did it. According to Ja, the real beef didn't even start over that robbery. It kicked off when 50 got salty after being iced out by the Murder Inc.'s crew during the video shoot for Ja's track, Murder for Life. Not long after, 50 dropped Life's on the Line. He didn't name Ja directly, but everyone knew who he was talking about. 50 even mocked Murder Inc.'s signature murder chant, and that's when the situation really spiraled. Things got physical in Atlanta, where a fight broke out between the two crews. Both chains got snatched in the chaos, and someone from 50's crew allegedly ended up with Ja's pendant. 50 later claimed they traded the pendant back for a Movado watch, but Ja completely denied that version of events, insisting 50 had nothing to do with his chain being taken. The bad blood was officially cemented after that night, and it's been fireworks ever since. Fast forward to March 2000, word started buzzing all over New York that 50 Cent was laying down tracks at the legendary Hit Factory studio. As soon as Ja Rule and his Murder Inc. crew got wind of it, they decided to pull up, ready to make a statement. What happened next was pure chaos. Tensions exploded inside the studio, and in the middle of the brawl, 50 ended up getting stabbed. Both Ja and Murder Inc.'s Black Child were arrested after the incident. Later on, Black Child openly admitted that he was the one who stabbed 50, claiming it was self-defense. Despite the drama, 50 shocked everyone by not milking the situation for publicity. He barely spoke about it in interviews and just kept hustling like nothing happened, determined to take over the rap game. But that stabbing was just one chapter in their war. By 2002, 50's grind finally paid off. He signed a multi-million-dollar deal with Shady Aftermath, teaming up with Eminem and Dr. Dre. Then came the No Mercy, No Fear mixtape with G-Unit, and that's where the legendary diss track Wanksta came in. That song was a direct hit at Ja and Murder Inc., mocking their image and questioning their credibility. The moment it dropped, hip-hop fans went crazy, and the tide officially turned in 50's favor. It wasn't just a diss, it was the beginning of 50's takeover, and everyone knew Ja Rule's career would never be the same after that. The No Mercy, No Fear mixtape started making serious noise, especially after one of its standout tracks was featured on the 8 Mile soundtrack. That moment was huge. It catapulted 50 straight into the mainstream and made him the hottest name in rap. On the track, 50 went in on rappers who bragged about money and street life, but, in his eyes, were broke and soft in real life. He called out rappers who used street credibility as a gimmick, exposing anyone who couldn't actually back up their tough guy talk. But after the Hit Factory incident, Irv Gotti tried to flip the narrative, accusing 50 of filing an order of protection against Ja Rule and Murder Inc., basically trying to paint 50 as weak and questioning his street cred. What Gotti didn't say was that the order wasn't something 50 personally filed. It was automatically issued by the NYPD after the stabbing. Still, that didn't stop Ja from blasting it online and calling 50 a rat, trying to embarrass him in front of the entire rap world. Of course, 50 wasn't about to let that slide. He came back swinging with Back Down, a ruthless diss track that shredded Ja's image and torched Murder Inc.'s street reputation. But Ja wasn't done either. Just 2 months later, he dropped Loose Change, going completely nuclear. He didn't just take shots at 50, he came for G-Unit, Eminem, Dr. Dre, Busta Rhymes, Chris Lighty, and even Eminem's family. Ja accused 50 of being a snitch, hurled wild claims about M's crew, and even took personal jabs at Dr. Dre and M's wife. That lit a fire under 50, M, and Busta, who fired back together with Hail Mary, a vicious parody of Ja's obsession with Tupac that ripped him apart bar for bar. After all the chaos, Ja tried to switch things up with his 5th album, Blood in My Eye, going for a harder, more aggressive vibe to prove he still had that street edge. But it totally backfired. Critics slammed the project, and fans weren't feeling it at all. It never came close to the success of Pain is Love or The Last Temptation, and slowly, Ja's momentum faded. Eventually, even Ja and Irv Gotti had to face reality. The battle with 50 had cost them big, but 50 wasn't done rubbing it in. At Hot 97 Summer Jam in 2014, he trolled Ja yet again by performing his diss track, I Smell Pa'i, just to remind everyone exactly who came out on top. Of course, Ja couldn't stay quiet. He clapped back in his memoir, Unruly, The Highs and Lows of Becoming a Man, doubling down on his old claim that 50 had snitched to the feds, which supposedly led to the infamous murder inquiry raid. 50 flat out denied it, but kept trolling relentlessly, pushing Ja to the edge. Ja finally snapped on social media, going off and saying he owns 50's soul, even calling him his bitch. He ranted, "Let's be clear, I mind my business, but for some reason, 50 Cent keeps my name in his mouth. I think he'd rather have my D in his mouth, LMAO." But then 50 pulled off one of the pettiest moves in rap history. He bought 200 front row tickets to Ja's concert just so the first rows would be completely empty.
Really buy Ja Rule's tickets, like seats at his concert?
You did. Cheap tickets. The tickets were very affordable.
Right.
They was on like StubHub. Yeah, I bought the first 4
How
rows.
many did you buy? If you say you bought the first 4 rows, is that a couple hundred?
Yeah, it was cheap though. It was cheap tickets, so it was something to do.
It was the ultimate troll, and fans couldn't believe how far 50 would go just to humiliate him. But here's the thing. There's a whole other layer to this feud that makes it way darker than just petty trolling. For years, rumors have floated around that the beef between 50 and Ja runs way deeper than rap beef. Some people believe Ja Rule may have had connections to the 2000 shooting that almost killed 50. Nothing was ever proven, but plenty of folks think Ja and Murder Inc. had ties to Kenneth Supreme McGriff, a notorious kingpin from Queens who had serious history with 50. After Supreme got out of prison, Irv Gotti and Ja reportedly brought him on as a bodyguard. On paper, it looked like a legit move, giving Supreme a real job while boosting Murder Inc.'s tough image. But here's where the theory gets wild. 50 had dropped his track Ghetto Quran, which named names and talked about real street players. Many believe that song didn't sit right with Supreme, and some even claim it led to a hit being put out on 50, resulting in him getting shot 9 times. Whether you buy into that theory or not, it could explain why the bad blood between 50 and Ja has never died down. This might not just be regular rap beef. This might be personal, deep, and way too far gone to ever be fixed. So what do you think? Is this feud just hip-hop history, or is it rooted in something way more serious? Could they ever squash it, or is it just impossible at this point? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.